Hello. Yes, I'm okay. For those that are looped in, I am fine. Um, oh, goodness gracious. What was wrong with your bike? We'll field that first, and then I'll fill everybody else in that doesn't know what happened to me. What happened? But yeah, no, how did your bike catch fire? Were you on your bike when it caught fire? Are you okay? Is the bike okay? I have many questions. While we wait. So yes, I'm fine. I got very, very sick. I went to the ER. Um I was there for a really long time because they couldn't get my vitals to stabilize. My pulse was really high, my oxygen was very low. They still aren't sure what's wrong with me, or what was wrong with me. They did a lot of tests. And best they could surmise was that I was dehydrated. I had base levels of pneumonia in my lungs, and then I had picked up a bacterial infection, unknown, we still don't know what it is, at some point in the middle of this. That's what the doctor said. Now, in my professional, not so professional opinion, because doctors never know what's wrong with me, I think I had the base levels of pneumonia, or I was recovering from pneumonia, in my lungs before all this happened from my previous sicknesses, because remember I was sick. So for my previous sicknesses, I think my immune system was just in the ground. I already had the pneumonia, and then on top of that, through having people in town who we love, but I went out and did a bunch of things and went to a bunch of places I normally wouldn't go, and so I think I picked up the bacterial infection while doing that stuff because my immune system was in the trash, and then I think I passed that on to everybody else, just through repeated exposure. That's what I think happened. But basically, what they did was give me a large slew of antibiotics while I was in the ER, and then some more antibiotics to take for a week in high dosage. I did 2 of them, and hopefully just kill whatever was living inside of me. I feel 100% better. I still have a minor cough, but it's more like a normal cough than what it was before. Like I can breathe properly and don't feel like I'm going to suffocate, and yeah. So that's what happened to me. I'm alive. I'm okay. It was rough there for a minute. They didn't know if they were going to send me home or admit me to the hospital because they just couldn't get me to stabilize. But I'm here. I'm alive and everything is okay. Uh yes, basic social interaction almost nearly killed me. Um so your engine bracket broke off and oils leaked and caught fire. You were riding to work. Um oh well, that's good. I'm glad that they're gonna fix you. Warranties are fix it for you. Warranties are a great thing. Dang, that's scary. I'm glad you're okay. That's terrifying. Anyone else have near death experiences they want to share with the class before we get started? We're waiting to see if the child is going to go to sleep before we hop in. Looks like he's trying to. But doing what?
He was crawling with the cup in his hand, and he went really hard into my shin.
Mm.
I was just sitting there, and he whacked right in, jammed his hand.
But he enjoyed that.
Well, if you heard him screaming, that's what that was.
I mean, he always screams now during sleep time, so I didn't even register it. I did keep it like on the lowest volume so I could listen, but yeah, no, I did not register it. Do you want to like Get some coffee or something sleepy?
It's not gonna help.
Want to do some jumping jacks? Want some sugar? James is tired. He got real sleepy. You were sleepy before that. I think the walk made you tired. You were having trouble staying awake on the couch. Well, whenever you are ready, we will get started. We're not in a rush. It's just Green Gorilla here. He almost died too, in a different way than I almost died.
I heard.
I let everybody know. I did text everybody. So, but yeah, as soon as you're ready and in a place where you want to start, we will start. I hate this movie. I'm just gonna let everybody know up front. Y'all are fired from this voting. But we are gonna do a vote for the first time in forever, and if Green Gorilla is the only one here, then Green Gorilla is the only one that gets to vote. Don't pick a shitty movie, cause I'm tired. I watched Anchorman, I watched Brothers, and I'm all done. I'm all done with the bad movies. We need something that I'm going to enjoy. Yeah. You okay? Yeah, look who fell asleep. Child fell asleep. You want to go get some ice for it before we record?
I may switch and get ibuprofen.
Tylenol not doing it.
Tylenol's never done anything for anyone. I don't understand it.
Helps our son. Go get ibuprofen before we start.
Just get it.
Okay. That'll give you some more time for the Tylenol to digest in your system. All right. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. You ready?
Yeah, we're just missing half our audience.
It's okay. Green Girl's only been the only one here before. The others want to join. They can join. You ready?
Alright.
3, 2. It's the end of the three-way tie. We watched Bring It On. We watched Anchorman 2. We did a Severance episode in the middle. And now we watched Brothers. There's a lot of movies named Brothers, I learned. So this specifically is the one with Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage. Just so we're all clear. I watched this movie what was 2 weeks ago now. I know we mentioned in the last episode or recordings that we had been sick. I got even worse somehow between that recording and this one. So sorry again for the delays in live recordings, and podcast uploads probably haven't been that much off. We need to put one out today, but yeah. That's about the long and short of it. This is CityWavesCinema. I'm America. That's James. This is Brothers, Amazon Prime original movie.
With MGM Studios.
Woo. I did not enjoy this movie.
What?
I did not enjoy this movie.
What?
It was also like one of the shortest movies I think we've ever watched on this channel. Like, it was so short. It was like 90 minutes.
Yep.
Good contribution, James.
I the,
You gonna finish any sentence or start any sentence?
this is a movie that does exist, and it there's an absurd amount of talented people that are in this movie, and one of them chose to go uncredited, and I don't blame her.
No, I don't at all.
Um, you may remember Glenn Close from hit movies such as Hook, where she dressed as a man, or Brothers, where she didn't dress as a man but did wear gloves the whole time for some reason.
She was also in Trolls.
Okay, but that movie's animated.
I, I was just saying.
Okay. So, fuck, man, this movie sucks. This movie sucks.
Who did Glenn Close play in Hook?
The fucking first mate.
Smee?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Hold on.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Brothers. Oh, she's been in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Glenn Close has been in a lot of stuff. But I need to know who in Hook. Because I don't think it was Smee.
Gutless.
I don't know who that is. Probably like just a pirate in the background.
Oh yeah, it's not Smee because Smee was the other guy. No, no, she's not a pirate in the background. She's in the fucking movie aggressively.
Okay. Let's just get into it. Cause if we just keep stalling, we're not gonna finish this, and I need it to be over. I need to
Who's stalling? We're talking about Glenn Close.
I need to stop holding brain space for this movie. I'm so tired of holding it in my brain. I want to dump it as soon as we're done with this recording. I don't want to remember it. I want to forget that I ever watched it until we get to the tier list episode. So, this is a movie. Go ahead. No,
No,
go ahead.
I don't have fucking anything. That's the problem.
The
This is like a worse version of uh not Helva, but that other dog shit.
has been.
Yeah, has been. It just like it's you can't manufacture the words for it because it's so much. Only in the case of Has Been, it was like entertaining, and in the case of this movie, it's like, oh man, oh man,
Somehow 90
oh,
minutes makes feels like a slog. Like
it really does.
it just keeps going and it's just so dumb.
Okay, first of all, the amount of mega talent in this movie is shocking for how piss poor it is. You have Josh Brolin, legendary. You have Peter Dinklage, legendary. You have Glenn Close, legendary. You have Brendan Fraser, who is turning in performance after performance of his career in recent history, and also made this movie around the same time. Marissa Tomei makes a fucking appearance. Uh, she's uncredited. Like, you have so many astonishingly talented people, and Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage also get producer credits.
That's probably the only way this movie got made.
Probably. It was shot by a very talented cinematographer named Quyen Tran, uh, and it was written by a guy called Ethan Cohen, not Ethan Cohen, who you might know as one of the Coen brothers, who are really, really good at writing scripts. This was instead by Ethan Cohen, who forgot how to write scripts during the making of this movie. So we start
With really bad ASMR that made me want to.
ASMR.
It because we start with the mouth sounds from freaking JD, and I hate it.
I didn't hear any mouth sounds.
It's probably
I
because you're
just heard narration.
at the beginning of the movie. When he's making the bomb, he's chewing gum, and
Oh
we
yeah,
get a
why
lot of.
we had to do this fucking the intro this way? I don't understand.
It literally set me off on such a bad vibe, like from the very beginning, just because I'm so triggered by mouth noises. Um, that it's just, eh, eh. Um, so yeah, the movie is centered around two brothers.
Twins.
What? No way. The movie's called Brothers. They are twins, Moke and JD, and they come from like a family of criminals. Not any particularly like good criminals, just a family of criminals. Um their mom, and the big thing is this is Thanksgiving. It's the common theme throughout this movie is Thanksgiving. Why?
That's because crime only happens in the fall.
Sure. That makes about as much sense as anything else in this movie. But this family is like obsessed with Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving. Their mom just finished stealing a bunch of emeralds with her boyfriend at the time,
Glenn.
and they are being chased by the cops. They come to the house for reasons. Um and the boys want to go with her.
Yeah, I don't.
And she says no. First of all, that woman did not birth twins. Just saying. Uh
What is the plan?
with the emerald stealing?
So they've stolen the emeralds.
Yeah.
And then they drove back to their house
Yep.
just to leave again almost immediately.
Yeah.
There are so many parts of this script that just fall apart under the slightest scrutiny or asking one question, and that it just makes no sense. Nothing makes sense. Everything's contrived. It I It's rare that I sit down to watch a movie and I go, "Oh, this is beneath me." Because I try really, really hard not to have an ego about, and I'm fucking what ego? I have made zero films. I make a hobby out of critiquing films, and I went to school to learn how to make films, and I don't make any films. So like,
You do video
I do
production.
video production, but like, I'm not making movies. But like, it's so rare that I sit down to watch a movie and I ask a question and immediately the movie is undone. Like, this script is so fucking bad. And everything that happens, it is a treasure trove of the screenwriter's crutch tropes. It is a ton of really mediocre dialogue that the actors try so hard to act through. And it's just disjointed, fucking weird sequence after weird sequence with characters we don't spend enough time with, that we don't want to spend any time with because no one's likable. Like I said, it's rare I sit down to watch a movie and I go, "Oh, this is beneath me." This I would look at this script and I would go, "Oh, this won't be made. Look at all the problems in it." And then I would be proven wrong when it does get made and it goes direct to streaming and it's panned universally and no one is surprised.
What I don't like about some of the things you just said, because they're all true. What I don't like about that is thinking about that in perspective. We have really good content creators, like people that are making good movies and TV shows who are getting shoved out and pushed out by Hollywood and streaming services like this, and yet this makes it through.
I think there needs to be a caveat that like barely does this make it through, because this takes two Titan names to produce. Uh it's straight to video on Amazon. So it's not like, I mean, Legendary Pictures had a hand in it and three other production houses that you've never heard of. So there's like one big production house and it's distributed by Amazon, probably funded by Amazon. It's this isn't big Hollywood making a banger film. This is uh probably a passion project from Brolin and Dinklage, to be honest. Like they probably were like, I want to do a dipshit buddy crime comedy. And to be fair, those two specifically have been acting in all of the most serious things possible in the last decade.
I can't think of a single thing Josh Brolin's done, and that's not anything against him. I'm
Both
just bad.
Dunes.
He's in Dune?
He's in both Dunes.
Who's the fuck does he play in Dune?
He's the general.
Ew.
Momoa is the like fighter guy, but Josh Brolin plays the general who runs all of the military for the
No,
big
no,
guys.
no, yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
I just like I guess for me Josh Brolin's like a name I know, but I can't think of any notable works he's done.
You haven't seen No Country for Old Men.
That is true, I have not.
That's like putting several people on the map who were already sort of like small stars, but it was I never finished it because I was uninterested in it, but that's just a personal preference. Okay, plot. Let's fucking scrape the bottom of the fucking barrel for what's left of the plot in this movie.
So JD and Moke, after their mom runs away with
Abandons
emeralds,
them with Glenn.
yeah, they're 15, and then they grow up basically
doing petty crime
and going to jail a couple of times.
Yes.
But like never like for long. Like it's not like they don't do any crimes big enough to like make it long term.
It's just stealing and shit.
Yeah, they're just kind of petty criminals. Then at the quote unquote last job, they are trying to rob a place that for some like really rare coins.
Okay, here's the thing with these two. They're fucking terrible criminals. Moke can crack safes, and that's all of the skills between the two of them. They are massively incompetent. They like if you watch the credit sequence after their mom abandons them, we basically see them grow up in the headlines and what they steal. If you pay close attention to everything like the pictures and the headlines and stuff that tells you basically what happens to them as they grow up, they're stealing useless shit.
Like go-karts.
Yeah, they're not stealing high value assets. They're not stealing anything of note. And they get busted in this warehouse where they've come to steal Like you
Coins.
said, they look like fucking dollar coins, and there's maybe 15 of them, maybe
And
20. I don't know.
only one of them gets busted.
Yes, only JD gets got. Moke disappears through the hidden mystical technique of running off screen.
Yeah, I don't know how he gets out.
It's not clear, and we will not elaborate.
And he just kind of leaves JD to take the fall and like then doesn't contact him or
Moke,
do anything for 5 years.
the script wants you to feel bad for Moke. He fully abandons his twin brother to get got by the cops. The script also makes you want to dislike JD, and yeah, so
And you do. So
there you go. So JD gets out after 5 years on quote unquote good behavior, but really what he's done is he's made a deal with a prison guard whose dad is a judge to get out to recover the emeralds that his mom stole 20 years ago.
that he has no idea where they are.
Oh, it's fucking 30 years ago, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah. Because Moke spends all that time ranting and raving against his mom later that it's been 30 years
Yeah.
since they were abandoned. So they're fucking 45 now.
They are too old for this shit.
They are too old for this shit. So this prison guard is Brendan Fraser, and I think maybe the best performance out of the whole movie is Brendan Fraser for just being unhinged.
I hate Farfel though. Like I hate his
Yeah, he's not likable in any way.
I hate his voice. I hate the way he talks.
Man, you hate him like Kendrick hates Drake.
Like
I
literally
hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
100%. Like every time he's on screen, I just want it to end. This movie's bad. It's so bad. And
You remember Cinderella?
yeah.
Amazon is for fucking a million.
Hey, do not lump my beautiful Cinderella in with this bullshit.
You slap and you walk? Jukebox fuck ass musical? What kind of fairy godparent is that? Go to hell.
Probably the best one. We shall not besmirch the name.
I will besmirch all of their names. That movie sucked dicks, and this one sucks more.
I will say though, as you were describing like the cast and how there's like a high cast, I was thinking about Amazon Cinderella. I was like, how do these Amazon movies keep getting like these massive
dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign,
massively like
dollar sign,
good
dollar
cast,
dollar sign,
and like being such shit movies?
Hey, if a producer at Amazon came to me and said, "Hey, I'll pay you 60 grand right now to write a script. It needs to be done by the end of the month. I will turn in something that looks sort of like this."
It does,
because I am not trained in that.
It does give off like video game, like Game Jam video game vibes. Like it was written like in like a deadline time crunch.
There are scripts and concepts that I heard and pitched in college that are at this level.
Dude, my Pretty Little Deceivers was at this level.
Pretty Little Deceivers was at least satire.
Yeah.
This is not that. This takes itself seriously. So Farfel, the cop, helps JD get out, gives him a phone. JD, as you may have predicted, has an elaborate scheme put together already. It's not that elaborate.
It feels like, not to quote our president here, but it feels like he has concepts of a plan and not like a real plan.
Well, no, what's worse is he has a real plan. It's just bad. He's supposed to be the idea guy, but remember, they're bad at being criminals. He's supposed to be the idea guy, and he sucks at his job. Now, Moke is trying to go straight edge. He's working at a restaurant for 10 seconds before he gets fired.
He's married.
He's married.
With a baby on the way.
But supposedly his father-in-law does not approve of him
Or has never met him. The whole thing's weird.
It's so shit, dude.
Nothing is like, no character is actually given enough time to like develop fully for you to even understand like the relationships and dynamics. It's just James is right. If you start to think about it for 2 seconds too long, it just all crumbles away.
Even Moke's wife, like, she has a pretty hefty amount of lines in the movie.
And like the most motivation in the movie.
Yeah, but like even she like just drops confidence and conviction for her husband at the slightest pressure. She's like, I don't believe you. Why are you doing this? I don't support you. You will do exactly what I need you to do right now. Now, that being said, everything Moke says to her is a lie. But like she's not willing to be faithful or helpful or anything at all the whole movie. She's purely an obstacle and has a baby for motivation.
Her big thing is like, you better make it home for Thanksgiving, because again, Thanksgiving. I've never heard so much about Thanksgiving until this movie. Like, dear God.
You would think with a lot of her dialogue, you would think that their marriage is on the rocks, but like
they're like super tight.
With his dialogue, you would think that they have a terrific marriage, but we don't. It's fucking, oh my God. Okay, so Moke gets fired,
and then JD, he goes home to find JD at his house.
Yes, so Moke's having a terrible day, and they're having this like housewarming baby shower party, and the only people who are invited are his wife's family.
Well, I don't think, to be fair, I don't think Moke would invite.
Moke doesn't know anybody,
and would not invite anyone in his family. It's a miracle that JD's there. Does he know anyone
in his family?
I mean,
we know his uncle died because he got his dick stuck in the pool.
And we know that his aunt and grandmother died from like the montage during the credits. So yeah, no, I don't think Moke has.
Their dad doesn't exist. He's not real. He has one scene. Moke doesn't know anybody. So the family comes over for this party, and the father-in-law is all like reproving, like, rah, rah, rah.
You need a better job because college costs like $1 million. You
gotta take care of my daughter and your grandchild, young man. Dude's 45, by the way. Like, and the fucking father-in-law is like can't be much older.
And then like meanwhile JD's over there like telling like traumatic stories of like Moke's childhood
and then he goes and gets high with the adopted son of the father-in-law.
Not JD's idea, to be fair.
Yeah, JD didn't suggest it, but he does it. So they get high, and then there's a short brawl, and then fucking Moke gets in trouble with his wife, and JD goes home to a room he's renting, I suppose.
I think it's like, a hotel room.
Where Farfel beats the shit out of him.
Literally, like, throws him across the room into the shower.
Demands the emeralds. He doesn't have the emeralds. So JD convinces Moke that they need to go on a road trip to crack this safe, to get basically to do the job for Farfel. Everyone's lying to everyone. So
except Moke. Moke doesn't really lie.
Moke lies the whole movie.
To his wife, but to everybody else, he doesn't lie to them.
Fucking stand-up guy. So, congratulations, I guess. Way to go, champ. You fucking only lied to the most close person to you. Incredible work. So, they go on the road trip, and the first place they go... Now, let's start here, though. Moke tells his wife they will be going to where they're going to, and then they will be coming back. It will take 2 days tops. One sleep. 2 days tops. So they drive out to somewhere, crash at a motel for the night. The next morning, they go to visit Bethesda.
Who is
Bethesda, not
JD's pen pal.
yes, not the game studio. Bethesda Marissa Tomei, who will
Sorry.
remain uncredited in this movie.
Sorry for stepping on your joke about Bethesda.
It wasn't that great. So this sequence is
Why?
it's one of those things where you like if you saw it storyboarded out, you'd go, "What AI drew this up?"
The whole purpose. Okay, before we get into what the scene is, you need to know that the whole purpose for this sequence is so that JD can get Bethesda's ID for the construction site she works at. That is the whole purpose in them being there.
Now, I do have a caveat. There was a really funny bit on the road trip, 2 in a row actually, just before they get to Bethesda.
Are you going to talk about the poem?
The poetry scene is very funny because it's all super contrived bullshit. And they openly say, all of this is super contrived bullshit. It's one of the only points in the script where you go, oh, they're not taking themselves seriously. That is funny. Following that up, they rock, paper, scissors for the bed at the motel instead of sleeping in the bed together. They're brothers, it's fine. And they both, like, Moke wins, but then feels bad because JD was in prison. But JD wants to honor the win. And so they both are stubborn about not about wanting to sleep on the floor so the other person can have the bed, and then no one sleeps in the bed and both of them sleep either on the floor or on a couch. That to me was also very funny. It reminded me of what if me and my brother had to crash in a motel. That is a situation we would wind up in. Is genuinely no one sleeps on the bed because we're not willing.
I also really like their little because it's not actually rock paper scissors, it's like
some weird horror monster game.
Yeah, because they like do Wolfman and Dracula.
1, 2, 3, and then they just say a monster, and it's not the rules
don't
exist. They're made up.
They're basically whoever they say, they decide at that point like who would win in a fight.
Yeah,
that's the game. Which also great way to decide shit. We should try that. We should just be like
1, 2, 3,
Wolfman. Ooh, Wolfman beats Frankenstein.
Well, yeah, because Frankenstein's a doctor. I should have said Frankenstein's monster, which beats Wolfman.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways. So
then Marissa Tomei. So Marissa Tomei plays. I wonder if they gave her like a character junket that was just like she's like one of those spacey hippie chicks who likes death metal and maybe wants to fuck, but it's unclear. And also
there's an orangutan.
Major hippie, and also may have stolen an orangutan from the zoo.
Not may have.
To keep at her house.
100%. I don't know if it's from the zoo, but Samuel, the orangutan,
she has an orangutan. Stolen. Now, she and JD, played by Peter Dinklage, go off to have some alone time, leaving Moke to his own devices in the house.
The strangest alone time.
This alone time will start with a 2-person mosh pit in the bedroom.
Yep.
Which is made much funnier when you realize JD isn't actually trying to get laid. He's trying to steal the badge. So he's just sort of fucking making it up as he goes, which makes Marissa Tomei's character, Bethesda, more unhinged than anything I've ever seen. Moke gets bored and starts meandering about. The mosh pit ends, and Bethesda mentions her journey partner, Samuel, JD asks who Samuel is, and Moke finds another room with a TV that's on, and he sits down. He is then pinned into the room by a large orangutan who
can
sign, enters the room and closes the door behind him. So Moke had hearing trouble as a child, so he knows a little bit of sign language, but not that much. So they sign back and forth a little bit. And then like Bethesda goes off to the bathroom or something. JD finds the badge, and then I'm okay.
Don't get us banned.
Okay. Okay.
It lives rent free in my brain. I can't get it out.
I have been permanently altered in a negative way by what happens. And if I were Marissa Tomei, I also would wish to go uncredited in this movie. So Moke, the orangutan comes and sits next to him on the couch, and this orangutan is wearing a diaper. Which if you've seen like house trained monkeys or whatever,
it's very common.
Yes, it's commonplace. So the orangutan
no way to say
takes his hand and is like just cuddling his hand. So it would be like if you were sitting next to someone and they took your hand that was closest to them and just sort of started like cuddling your hand, right? Only then the orangutan takes I'm saying all these words out loud right now. The orangutan takes Josh Brolin's hand and slowly but with force puts Josh Brolin's hand inside the diaper. And then that orangutan fucks Josh Brolin's hand. And that orangutan screams when it climaxes.
Which alerts Bethesda. And then it's over.
Josh Brolin also screams.
And runs away.
And yes. JD steals the badge, breaks a window, and rolls. The funniest part of the movie to me, actually, was in this escape sequence, because JD breaks the window, falls onto the roof, rolls off that roof, and falls onto the ground. And as he rolls along the roof, you just hear Peter Dinklage do voiceover where he says, JD, roll!
What is he, a Pokemon?
I don't know, but it's so fucking funny.
I also didn't catch until this, and you said it, that the whole point of that story that JD tells about Moke at the beginning is setting up Moke to sign for the orangutan later on, because JD tells the story about how Moke's ears were messed up for most of his childhood, and so he couldn't hear basically till he was 10.
Yeah, yeah. So they get away, they leave, and they go to a different motel. Now, we have now crossed the mark where Moke said he would be home. It has been the day to leave. It has now been the day to come back. And all that's happened is he jerked off a monkey. Okay? So Moke is mad, obviously. And then Moke, in his underwear, discovers that JD has been in correspondence with their mother over the last 4 months. And those two have concocted a plan to get the emeralds that she stole 30 years ago and cash in a bunch of money. Yes.
I just need to point out, because we just talked about that whole sequence, that the Wikipedia summary just says they find an orangutan there smoking a cigarette and decide to leave.
I don't think you could describe what I said out loud and put it on a Wikipedia without it getting taken down.
I just feel like that's still a very abridged version of what happened.
Oh, that's mega abridged, boy.
Like,
I tell you what.
I feel like you could still include some more details without all the details, rather than just going, yeah, they find an orangutan smoking a cigarette and are like, well, guess we're out. Like, that's it.
So,
anyways, continue.
We're at the motel. The brothers get into an argument, and then they storm out, and
Oh,
surprise of all surprises,
Mommy
their
dearest.
mom is in the next room over. And it surprises Moke so hard that he falls over the balcony and hits his head on the car.
He like crashes into the car. The Moke should be dead. So many people should be dead by now. Anyways, sorry.
So
they go.
She claims she's dying and tells them about how
what happened
her
30
boyfriend
years ago.
Glenn swallowed the emeralds, bled out in the car. She found a place to dump the body, therefore stashing the emeralds for until she could get back into the country and get them back, right?
Which is apparently 30 years.
Right. So everyone, they go out for drinks / food, and
karaoke.
Everyone sort of rebonds
over alcohol
after a fight, and so they have a fight, and then we have the first of some truly heinous movie making sins. What time is it in this episode? I can't see. Okay, I thought it might have gone longer.
No, we couldn't probably do this and then wrap up.
So the first of the cinema sins, if you will, is
no affiliation.
Moke asks the bartender for one of those bottomless margaritas.
I could really go for a bottomless margarita.
And the bartender, you hear the bartender say something to the affirmative. Bartender goes like, "No problem, buddy," or something like that. On screen, the bartender's lips do not move. They are closed. No one says any words.
Oh.
It is one of two instances in the movie where the dub that they clearly did in post just basically they didn't get the shot where the bartender says the line or moves their mouth in any meaningful way, and so they just had to ADR it in, and it looks and sounds like shit.
See, these are the things you don't notice when you watch your movie on a screen on your desk that it's this big.
Right. So, hold on. We should stop after Farfel gets to Bethesda's place.
That's fine. Where you said there were multiple sins in this sequence. Was that the only
one? No. That's the first of two in the movie.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Everything else is just sort of like everything else is super mid to low quality about the movie, but there are two moments where it's like glaringly wrong. That's the first.
So the only things you need to know from this sequence is everybody gets drunk. It is now another night's sleep.
JD has herpes now.
Yep. And the emeralds are estimated at about $4 million.
I took a note that says that, like, I really don't think this bonding while everyone's hammered scene is a vibe. And it's because story-wise, Moke is so mad about everything with somewhat good reason. Yeah. He's not a good guy, but like he's the one who's been damaged the most by everyone involved.
He clearly holds on to more trauma about his mom and everything than JD does.
And to be clear, there is a line in here that is like some cold ass shit, and it's when his mom abandons them and he goes, "Take us with you," and she says, I couldn't use you. That's fucking cold shit. So to have this like feel good bonding sequence that is forced by alcohol
As most family bonding experiences are.
is just like, it feels so contrived and fake and bullshit, and it cheapens any actual character development that could have gone on. And yeah, it's like a fun sequence to like look at with your eyes, but it's like brain mush. It reduces, it's like watching Coco Melon. It turns you into a dumber person for having seen it. Um
Here we go loop de loop. Here we go loop
so
de loop.
so far that all happens.
Meanwhile,
Officer Farfel has tracked the brothers to Bethesda's place.
somehow,
Yes, this we will not learn how. Um, Bethesda's leaving to go to work, basically tells him to fuck off, you don't have a warrant, and he assaults her, demanding to know where the brothers are and blah blah blah. She tells him all that she knows, which is virtually nothing. And then Samuel spies Farfel through the door, hurting his mother.
spiritual journey partner, James.
Okay. And gets real snarly. And the end of the scene is Farfel going, "You have a monkey?" And then being grabbed and dragged bodily off camera. Now, in the real world, a chimpanzee can and will kill a man.
Orangutans too. Orangutans are mean.
An orangutan is 2 to 3 times the size of a chimpanzee. Now, Officer Farfel, big guy. It's Brendan Fraser. He's in his bigger era right now. Samuel should have killed that motherfucker. And even a docile, enraged orangutan assaulting someone, you've been a die. The internet just had this trend go around. It even made it into my Discord server where the question was asked, could 100 men fight one silverback gorilla? And it took the whole world by storm for like 4 days. And the consensus was
Not on that side of the internet.
100 men could probably do it. Then the wildlife conservationist type folks got into it, and they were like, you could probably do it with 40 men, to be honest. But also, a silverback gorilla will kill so many motherfuckers. This orangutan only had to kill one, and it didn't do it.
In my head, it was a different type of assault that the orangutan dragged Farfel off to.
Oh, you reckon?
Based on previous history of the orangutan in question. And based on Farfel's reaction leaving. But I don't know, because it's not shown, explained, or anything. So yeah. That's where we'll leave this episode of this movie that we watched.
Yep.
And y'all get to vote again. And if you vote for a shitty ass movie, I will kill you. For legal purposes, that's a joke. But I'm all done watching really shitty movies.
That's not true. We plan to continue the channel.
Okay, I need a break. I need to watch something of somewhat quality. I cannot do another Anchorman Brothers-esque movie, okay? We need to do something else. So, we will be back in podcast land in the next episode. Thank you. You gonna make it, my guy? Okay, I'm going to put good ones on the list. That doesn't mean y'all vote for the good ones on the list. And it's just you tonight, Green Gorilla, so you hold all the power. I don't think anyone else... I see an uptick in our viewers, but it's not counting. Well, I guess it's concurrent viewers, so maybe someone else is hanging out here. What is this movie? Brothers. See, I told you, I'm already starting to dump it. I don't want to remember this movie. But somehow, that orangutan scene will live in my head. Forever. I can't get it out. Okay. Voting time. Voting time. Voting time. Voting time. Voting time. Okay. Those are my two to start with. Let me go over here. I don't have the brain space to do that one right now. Is there a pen in here? There's a gel pen. Shit. Alright. There's a problem with gel pens. Alright. Did that one. Okay. This has been trending recently, so we'll add this one on here. It was on the list before, but it recently has popped back up in, like, popularity. So we'll do that one, and then... No, I did that one. Make it go away. I did that one. Make it go away. I don't have the brain space to do the new Joker movie right now. I can't. I just can't. Let's finish James's Roald Dahl education as the last one. All right. Here you go. We'll be back. Sonic. Sonic it shall be. We've done all the other ones. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I've been waiting to watch it. Specifically for this podcast because we did all the other ones. So, good choice. There were only good choices on that list. To answer your question, the BFG is short for the Big Friendly Giant. It is a Roald Dahl book that is turned into a movie. And I only put it on there, on the list. I only put it on there because James hates Roald Dahl. With like a deep, fiery passion. So, Roald Dahl and Tim Burton. Those are his least favorite.
I don't hate him, I hate his works.
I mean, I don't think Roald Dahl was a particularly good person either, but John Tucker is an excellent movie. Thank you very much. You did a bit. Okay. We will watch Sonic 3. But we have to get through this freaking movie. It's almost over, right? We're about to get to the actual heist portion, and then it just goes so... Then it just goes so fast, right?
Goes so fast is one term to describe what happens.
I mean, it's faster than the rest of it. Right? I don't know. It felt like the longest 90 minutes that ever existed, ever.
Yeah.
That's actually not true. The longest 90 minutes is 6:30 to 8 p.m. 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. or to 8 p.m. in this household. That is the longest 90 minutes. That's right before bedtime. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. We're still talking about brothers. It's still here.
I wish both my shoulders hurt the same amount instead of having watched this movie.
I wish
I could be a perfect daughter. No more.
I mean, yes, but no. No, I don't even know what I wish. I wish that I wish this movie had never made it on the list.
I wish the screenwriters like efforted.
I guess that's my issue. Is it's kind of and this has been the way on the channel for a little bit between Beetlejuice, Anchorman 2, and this movie. Is there just a bunch of movies that are just there? I watched them. I care so little about having watched them.
Yeah.
I'm not better. I'm not worse for it. They are just things.
Oh, I'm worse for it.
This one I'm definitely worse for.
I'm worse for it.
But like they're just things that exist. They're not. Even though this is a really bad movie, and don't get me wrong, it's a really bad movie. I don't have like incredibly critical things to say about it. Like it's not like Cats.
It's not Flintstones bad.
It's not Cats, bad. It's just.
But boy,
it's just
rough.
Yeah, I guess that's my issue. Is it's like I can't sit here and like. It's so bad in a different way that there's not a lot to like tear apart from it. Like, yeah, the plot sucks. Yeah, it's stupid jokes. Yeah, it's dumb. But like that's it. There's not other than the whole orangutan scene, which again I cannot erase from my brain. The whole movie's just kind of very much like bleh. Anyways, this is CityWavesCinema. That's James. I'm America. Let's finish this fucking movie for the love of God. I want it to be done. We're at the start of the heist to go retrieve.
It's not a heist. It's not. You cannot describe what happens next as a heist. Because
I mean,
all it is jewel retrieval. Okay? Now, the grand plan was to get the ID of someone who worked at a construction site so that they could steal a excavator and then dig up the body of Glenn so they could get the emeralds that he swallowed, right?
Yes. That is the whole plan.
So they steal Bethesda's ID.
Correct.
And it is decided that the best double for Bethesda, Marissa Tomei, is not Glenn Close, but is instead Josh Brolin, who looks just like Marissa Tomei. I don't know if I made that clear. Josh Brolin looks just like Marissa Tomei.
The more we talk about this movie, the more it makes sense that she did not want any credit for this movie.
Now, I don't know if she didn't want credit or they didn't give her credit or whatever. I am making an assumption that she did not want credit. And it's only because if you go look, she is listed as uncredited on IMDb.
She did it as a favor to her friends.
So they get the excavator. We will not be shown how. They drive the excavator off the lot. We will not be shown how. Next thing we know, Moke has an excavator driving down the road. They drive to the country club, which is where their mom remembers dumping the body.
It was not a country club when she dumped the body.
It was a barren wasteland when she dumped the body. So she uses her hand to measure against the water tower in the background, which is what she did when she dumped the body, picks the exact spot where the body is.
Miraculously.
Is correct. So they make Moke dig up Glenn. First of all, they made Moke steal the excavator. Then they make Moke dig up Glenn. Then they make Moke fish around in Glenn's decomposed body, which they dug up perfectly, by the way, to find the emeralds. All of these things he does do with minimal protesting.
Yeah, for fucking why?
Grow a whole entire spine, dog. Make your mom do it. Fucking
yeah, you're the one.
Christ.
Anyone else? JD, this is your plan. You get them out.
So they get the emeralds, but they are spotted by
golf bros.
Golf bros.
That's the only way I can describe them.
I must say, I now have a grouping of individuals that I dislike more than cyclists and more than tech bros. And that is golf bros. Fuck those guys.
Just from like this movie?
Just from this movie.
Okay.
In particular. I used to be really good at golf. If I had kept up with it, I would be a golf bro. But yeah, these ones in particular are fucking assholes. So the golf bros take it upon themselves to run down the people in the excavator and assault them. Uh-huh. So
just for ruining the golf course, like that's like their only gripe.
So they fucking run them down, and it is the second instance of ADR happening that did not happen.
Okay.
I have to pull up my notes because I made detailed note about it.
Now, I need to set the scene for you a little bit. There's the excavator, where our collection of protagonists...
Yeah, they're protagonists.
...are riding. In the scooping part of the excavator is Glenn's body. And then there are like 3 or 4 golf carts that are Mad Maxing against this excavator with these and I cannot stress enough, the picture in your head is correct, golf bros. And that's the scene we're looking at right now. I just needed to make sure that we were all on the same page. Because this movie exists.
One of the funnier lines in the movie does occur in the sequence, and it is JD, Peter Dinklage, being dragged from the excavator onto a golf cart. as he desperately tries to hang on, and uh he goes, it just makes me laugh because Peter Dinklage is like 50. He goes, "Mom, they're touching me inappropriately," which is a very funny line.
My favorite funny line is also from Peter Dinklage, and it's right after he gets high with the brother-in-law, and they're being chased by the dad.
Run for the mountains, brother-in-law.
Run for the mountains, brother-in-law. Anyways.
You genuinely laughed at that point in the movie, and I was so confused because I was like, I thought you hated this shit.
It's the only time I laughed. I think I maybe laughed at a different point when I watched this, and I made a note. Because I think I've only laughed twice. But carry on with what happens next. I'll look and see if I can find it.
The sin in the cinema is that Glenn Close's character, the mom, says, "Eat my ass, fuckers," to the golf bros. But when you watch it, she doesn't open her mouth. And it's another instance of, oh, we need a line here. Do we have a shot for it? No. Fuck it. So it's just so dog shit.
I don't know when it happens, but I do have a note. If we're talking about sins, like actual cinema filming sins in this movie, no affiliation again. There is a point in which there is a fake body, and it is the most obvious, like, mannequin body I've ever seen in a movie. And I can't for the life of me remember when it is. I was going through my notes.
Like you saw a stunt happen, but it wasn't even a stunt person. It was like a doll.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's sometime.
What? I didn't even see this shit.
Is sometime in this sequence because it's right after.
Is it a golf bro?
I don't know, but it's right after he reaches in and grabs the emeralds. Because I said I would double check to make sure you got them all because they just like, yeah, eat them and are like, yeah, I got them. And then the next note is this whole thing is so stupid. And then that fake body was extra fake. This is what happens when you blow your budget on a monkey.
The monkey was CG too. I don't like.
That's still money.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Me either, but I needed to point it out when you watch
this may or may not be real. America may or may not have hallucinated a fake body.
I'm gonna fucking you talk. I'm gonna find it.
Sure. So they escaped the golf bros through the golf bros making mistakes while driving. They parked the dozer off on the side of the road somewhere, and they're gonna dig a grave for Glenn or whatever. There's this big fight, and then Moke goes and sits down by the river, and his mom comes to join him, and they talk. And it's just like she bullshits her way through a heart to heart with him, claiming that she didn't say couldn't use you, but she instead said I couldn't lose you, which it's not believable even for a moment, because the whole time she has been portrayed as this sociopathic lying sack of shit. And so you can't go beyond your disbelief and commit to believing that she's not lying right then. It sucks. It really does suck. And it could be any combination of the fucking script or the acting choices or the directing or whatever. But it's just like,
okay, yeah, okay.
Oh, was it when they run over the wood chipper guy?
Yeah, like that is the.
Oh, and he dodges out of the way, and he just gets
look
run
at it.
over.
Look at this shit. Look at the shit. And that is the
it 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 doesn't look great. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I also forgot about that because the
You were
so
focused on
irrelevant.
the ADR dump, and I was like, that is wow, that is a doll that they just threw. Like, it's like Monty Python levels of like bad. Like, and Monty Python does it on purpose, but like,
So
anyways, carry on. Sorry.
Farfel shows up
Yeah.
somehow, um, in disarray because he's been assaulted one way or another by an orangutan.
His knee is injured now for reasons that we don't ever find out how or why.
Yeah. He assaults JD, demands the emeralds. Um, Moke comes to his assistance, misses a knockout punch, and instead punches the ground. Um,
Now both
then both brothers get held at gunpoint
and zip tied,
and zip tied. And JD had the wherewithal to kick the emeralds away.
which means mommy
But
dearest.
then mom grabs the emeralds and Farfel tries to bargain with her to give him the emeralds and he won't kill the guys.
Yeah, her kids, because he makes the assumption that like, oh, it's a mom.
She'll give up the emeralds for her son's life. And she goes, fuck you guys, and leaves.
She's like, sorry, boys, and just fucking runs off. And even Farfel's like,
oh, I didn't think that was going to happen.
He's like, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't think she'd choose the emeralds over you.
And a chase actually occurs before he ever says that because he runs off after them, or after her, and the guys get up and chase after them. And then Moke and JD overtake Farfel because he's out of shape, and they try to chase down their mom. Their mom steals Moke's car, and they just sort of stand there, and Farfel shows up and he says that thing. He's like, I didn't think she would do that. So then he's got them zip tied and he takes them into his cop car and he's taking them to somewhere.
I think back to dad.
Probably, because he doesn't have foresight. A fight occurs and a random boot catches Farfel in the head.
A fight between the brothers. They're not fighting Farfel.
They get into it with each other, kick Farfel in the head. And then, for an inexplicable lack of reasons, they drag the car crashes a little bit. Not it's enough to render Farfel more unconscious, but not enough to damage the car or cause a problem. So they get Farfel out of the car, and then the grand plan now is Moke is going to sit in the driver's seat and he's going to drive the car. And JD is going to sit in his lap facing him with his hands still tied behind his back and steer the car.
Uh-huh.
Instead of checking Farfel's unconscious body for a knife, which absolutely would be there. Beyond any reason, it absolutely would be there.
I'd even take, like, one of them steers with their mouth over this nonsense that happens. Yes. And then I would also take their bad criminals, but at least maybe they know the knowledge of, like, the shoelace with the zip tie trick. Like, I don't know, something, anything. I was so confused what they were trying to accomplish because that wouldn't have even crossed my mind.
It didn't make any sense for them to do what they did the way that they did it. But they drive away nonetheless. Moke says, I think I know where... Or no, they don't do that yet. They drive to a junkyard where Moke finally calls his wife and gets chewed out, as he ought to, but she's having the conversation like this is the last straw in our marriage, and he's having the conversation like, oops, I'm gonna be late, sorry,
our great aunt died, which has been the ruse that they've been,
which she doesn't believe, and he's not selling well. And In the meantime, JD is fucking stacking
Stacking
toasters.
toast.
Um, so then JD actually has a tiny bit of character development where he talks very briefly about how he really thought that she gave a shit about how that he thought that his mom actually gave a shit about him and that he wasn't just a means to an end. Um, and it's the only amount of character development that anyone gets in the movie. And then from there, Moke decides he knows where their mom is going. And so they go to a named character called Freddie Unk, who is a lawyer. Um, and the goal with going to Freddie Unk is apparently he also appraises jewels. And he is, in fact, appraising the emeralds for their mom. And the he says he basically buys them off her for $4 million. So she's trying to leave with a bag of cash, gets confronted by her sons, and bails. Her sons chase her, uh, and they wind up chasing her to an abandoned mall, in which they will try and find her and have a hard time doing it. And then Farfel catches up to them there
Somehow.
somehow.
Farfel's the biggest plot hole in this entire thing because there's no explanation for how he finds them.
Because they
Ever.
leave their tracked phone behind.
Yeah.
And so like there was a way for him to track them until they intentionally left it behind because he could track it.
And they don't leave it behind like in the middle of this. They leave it behind like at
way
the
at the beginning of the
beginning.
movie. So yeah. So fucking Farfel shows up with a big fuck off shotgun. And a standoff occurs. The brothers team up to do the ultimate con and trick Farfel into getting sprayed in the face with a substance. Um, and I didn't write a note about this, but I was thinking about it when it happened. But the the mall was abandoned sometime around Christmas because there's still like the big fucking mall Christmas tree up in it. And he gets sprayed, his gun goes off, something falls over, something else falls over. The Christmas tree catches fire and falls on top of him, right?
This is the only time in the first watching that I laughed is when Farfel is on fire and like kind of delirious because he's just been like knocked in the head and the Christmas tree's on top of him. And JD goes over and like stamps the fire out on his leg and he goes, "Thank you, nice man." And
Yes.
I'm like, that made me chuckle.
That was pretty funny. But it fucking the tree falls and those big like ornaments fall, and one of them bounces so many times right in the front of the screen. And it's like it's so clearly animated that you look at it and you go, man, they didn't even fucking try.
Like on levels of like Disney Descendants animated, how bad we talking?
Worse.
Really, I didn't notice that.
It looks like almost like a bowling animation. In that one, it's one ornament. Everything else has normal physics when it falls.
I gotta go watch it.
But there's one red ball ornament that falls and bounces like a bouncy ball a couple of times before it rests. And I just saw that and I was like, man, this movie sucks so much. So the tree falls, they've got their bag of money, but the mall is surrounded by police at this point, and so their mom shows up again and she decides she's going to yeah, you see that red one that's bouncing 1,000 times
all of
and then
them,
it rolls funny.
Well, I just watched all of them, even the presents that leap off, everything. Oh, the
It's
animation.
so bad. It's
It is
so
like
bad.
it is like decom animation. Like
Yeah.
it's like ugh.
So fucking their mom decides that she's going to take the fall She takes the gun, tells her boys to leave,
through like a exit that she knows about.
and then she tells them that she's not actually dying, and somehow now I know cops in real life. I know a cop who's been in some serious situations in real life. She walks out of the mall and is told 4 to 6 times to put down the gun. Now, she's not holding it threateningly.
It's
She's
above her
not,
head.
it's above her head or at her side, hand not on the handle, even. It's on the barrel. Um, and she's told multiple times, put down the gun. Does not do that. In no real world scenario does she not get perforated by the many officers outside. Like, that's not happening under any circumstance. She makes it out, whatever, right? The guys escape. They have to go to the judge's house because they still need to get the gun that early in the movie Farfel planted JD's fingerprints on.
To make sure that JD held up his end of the bargain.
Right. So they have to go get the Uzi. So they go and Moke rolls up,
gives his whole cut away.
Yeah, gives his cut of the cash, which I believe is 2 million. He takes some.
Yeah, no, because
I think he says just shy of 1.9.
Because Blueberry gets 2 million.
Fucking Blueberry. So he gives the judge X amount of dollars, gets the gun, and they have a back and forth about how the judge is so old he's never going to be able to spend all that much money. And like, I think it's supposed to intimate that he's going to get the money back eventually. Somehow, I don't know. The dialogue's so shit. So he gets the gun and leaves. It is unclear what he will do with this gun. If I were him, I would just keep it. Maybe bury it. I don't know. It's an illegal firearm.
Then we find out that while he was at the judge's house,
JD went to an actual lawyer, made a trust under Moke's daughter's nickname because they hadn't picked a name and they had been, if you've had a child and you don't want to reveal that child's name yet, you might have a fun, cute nickname that you refer to the child as.
Or you might not have picked out a name. Like, we called ours Bean.
Yes.
For the entire time.
We called our kid Bean. Moke and his wife have been calling their kid Blueberry.
And JD's an idiot.
And so JD thinks that's the actual name of the child, and so he makes the trust under the name Blueberry, which handcuffs Moke and his wife into naming their child Blueberry so that she will have access to the $2 million when she comes of age. And so they refer to her as Blue, but she's named Blueberry. They go to Thanksgiving the next year to see their mother in jail.
Again, Thanksgiving. Why?
Because it's a theme.
Why that holiday? Why?
The brothers, so they see her baby gets passed around. She gets taken back to her cell. She passes the baby to JD, but that's not the only thing she passes to JD. As it turns out, through a flashback, when she surrendered to the police, she had 3 emeralds in her hand. She swallowed them, got arrested, obviously. And then she gets those emeralds out, as one does when they swallow a thing, cleans them up, passes them off to JD. So as they leave the jail, JD stops Moke and pops out 2 of the emeralds.
Moke stops JD. He's like,
oh, does he?
He says,
because he saw the pull.
He's like, I saw what you guys did in there.
So JD reveals the emeralds, which I believe they split. And then in the final narration, JD is I guess, narrating to Blue,
Yeah, he's telling Blueberry this whole story.
and he tells her that JD that he kept there were actually 3 emeralds, not 2, and he kept 1 extra for himself.
He's like, "Don't tell your dad that I have one of the extra emeralds."
Right. And so then the movie ends. So
The movie ends with Blueberry at some age, at some point in the future, as JD is telling her this story, going, "I believe fuck you, pay up," or something like that to JD. Then the movie ends. And it's over. I hope that we spared you from watching this movie. Because ah that yeah. It was
dude, this movie sucks so bad.
it's
It makes me mad.
it just
Sometimes
makes me depressed. Like I'm so meh from watching this movie and talking about this movie, and I've even had to watch most of it a second time, that it's like it sucks the life out of me. That's that's what it does. Like it just makes me want to go to sleep and not exist. It's just so mediocre that I don't want to participate in life anymore. And it's not as bad as Cats, where like you can hate it enough that it like makes it somewhat enjoyable to watch. Like not that you're enjoying watching it, but like you hate it so much that like you can make jokes and you can poke fun and you can do all this stuff about this entire movie. This is not that. It's so not good and so mid in so many ways that it's like you can't even like make jokes about hating it.
yeah, I want to poke fun and stuff at it, but like I can't. It's so genuinely ungood that you can't even like make a silly joke about it. It wants to be a serious movie, like a serious comedy, but it's one, not funny, and two, the plot is so bad that there's not a redeeming factor there either. Like you're just left feeling worse off at the end of it.
Like you
Um
wasted your time.
yeah, like you wasted your time. Um yeah, it never hit theaters. I don't think it was a money-making movie for them. I don't know. I don't understand how the movie would make money on Amazon other than the forced ad rolls.
Again, I don't understand how this movie exists and Mark can't get anyone to take Iron Lung. Like it doesn't.
Tubi's taking Iron Lung. We're gonna see it next month.
Oh, finally!
Yeah,
Thank
he
God.
he talked about it in that video, that I'm Back video.
I fell asleep. Remember?
Oh yeah, he says Tubi, it's coming out, and it's coming out on Tubi. It'll
Yeah,
be worth getting a fucking account.
that's I know, but that's not what he wanted.
No,
And that's my thing. Is it's like we're sitting and there was the whole birth by sleep. That's not what it's called. Fuck.
Soma.
No.
Jack was working on a Soma thing.
No, the his TV show. Uh
Oh, the if you fall asleep you die thing.
yeah, I can't think of the name of it right now, but there was that whole to do with it where Amazon basically said, I mean, and Mark had to put up a fuck ton of money to get them to even accept putting it out on their platform at all. And this exists.
Yep.
Like it's just it's it really highlights all the struggles that he's been having in trying to get his non-YouTube content like taken seriously.
We're in this era of Hollywood movies where we're having a hard time transitioning to streaming platforms. People are resistant to the idea of direct release to streaming, especially now that theaters can be back in operation. Um, the Academy is being unveiled as being massive frauds. There's so much tumultuous bullshit going on in Hollywood that like we're either going to enter a golden era of films, which could happen, or all the old hotshot directors are going to die, and we're going to enter a horrible period of films that will then be followed by a renaissance and a good period of films. And I have a horrible feeling that we're headed towards the bad kind.
Again, though, it's just like I know so much of what Mark's gone through and how he's really like shown Hollywood that you can do things not in the same way that they've always been done. And
Yes.
also like internet creators can make real shit and not just like YouTube videos and like all this stuff, that all these walls that he's been trying to break down. And I just sit here and I think of all the struggles that he's been going on for the past 3 years since COVID ended, actually in COVID, because that's when they filmed that show. And I think about all that fucking work. And I think about like a Heist with Markiplier and In Space with Markiplier and how freaking solid those are. And then this exists. And it's not fair. And it makes me angry in a different way than just like this is a bad movie like Cats or something. Like it makes me angry at larger scale things that I shouldn't have to think about when I'm using media to be escapist. Like this just highlights a lot of problems and flaws in the movie making industry that shouldn't be there. And that's that. I'm done.
Now, on the other hand, it could have just been a passion project for Dinklage and Brolin, and they wanted to make a dumb comedy together, and they went and did that.
Which is fine, but then I still am in the boat of like, okay, but because they have like like credibility in Hollywood, they get to do this, even though Mark has has the same amount of money that he put into his my point still stands, even if it's just like a fun movie that they made for themselves and then they put out there. Why can't Amazon do the same thing for an internet creator who made a TV show? Same.
Well, because the internet creator doesn't have draw.
Yeah, he proved them wrong a lot. Anyways, I'm done talking about Markiplier. I'm done thinking about this goddamn movie until we have to do tier list, where I will throw it immediately into F and not want to talk about it anymore. Spoiler alert. I am done with shitty movies. We're gonna watch Sonic 3, and it's gonna be good. And that's it. That's it. Ending thoughts, James. What you normally give a rating to wrap things up, so
What? I fell asleep.
I said you normally give a rating to wrap things up, so how would you rate this movie?
College short film.
On a number scale?
2.
There you have it. We'll
That's the amount of funny bits in the movie.
We'll be in your ear holes at some point later.
We'll be in your ear holes. I like that. That's funny.
All right. It's over. We finished the 3-way tie. Sorry it took us way longer than it should have. Again, I died multiple times. And one of those only one of those is like not being dramatic. I like where I actually went to the ER. But yeah. I said that we were going to have all these really cool games and content coming out, and that's still true, but I have to wait for the games to come out before we can make content. And Kindergarten 3 has not come out. And
it's coming though.
None of the Bendy chapters that were announced have come out. So we're just kind of in limbo as far as like gaming streaming content. Um so it's not like before where I was like, "Oh shit, like yeah, we're going to do this stuff," and then we just didn't do it because life happened. No, I'm literally just waiting for like games to come out. And that's not my fault. So, you know,